West African time. My name is Linda Alela, and it's now time for Newsfeed. We have so much in store for you in Matters News. And to kick us off, Salah is on standby to give us the update on what is happening down there on the strike, the nurses' strike. But before we get to Musa Salah, first, gunmen raided billionaire Manu Chandaria's Muthaiga residence last evening and robbed the family of 600,000. Detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations say that the robbers managed to disarm an administration police officer of his G3 rifle. An administrative police officer and 3 other suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident. Other guards on duty were found tied in a room as the gang escaped towards Karura Forest. Well, the ongoing nurses and clinical officers strike has entered its second week today. The health workers have vowed to continue with their strike until the grievances are addressed. Let's listen in the press conference, and also Musa Salah, who's on standby to tell us what is ongoing. So we cross over to there. Musa, if you can hear me, what else is happening down there?
Yes, Linda, good afternoon. We are currently based outside Afya House, where the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers are currently protesting what they have been calling a lack of enough equipment to the hospitals. Remember that the strike, the clinical officers have been striking for the past 1 week, and this is their 8th day. And I'm currently joined by the Secretary General of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, and I'll just be asking him, George, could you possibly, Daktari, tell us what you expect from this exercise today?
Thank you for having me on TV47. And as we are here today is our 8th day on the strike. And we think we presented our demands to the government. We expect the government to be responsive enough, and having been tasked with the responsibility to ensure that services are running properly in the government and outside the country, in our public facility. So they have such a mandate to ensure that they respond to our demand. Where we are, and I need to tell Kenyans so that they get to understand, that we are feeling that our life have been threatened. We feel that the working environment has not been enhanced, and the majority of us have been infected. Like, we have a number of almost now 800, because it's 783 clinical officers have been infected with COVID-19, and we have lost 9 of them. And we feel that even when we have been hospitalized, we do not have a comprehensive medical cover that can assist us to actually get medication that we so need. I heard the president saying that we have enough beds in the public facility, but I need to say that a majority of those who have succumbed did not get a bed for themselves in the public facility. And that is why when they die in the private facility, we are left with a very huge bills for us to foot. Like now we are contributing for one of us who will be laid to rest tomorrow, who died, he was an employee at Nandi, but he died in a private facility in Eldoret called St. Luke Hospital. And this is the pain that we are undergoing, and we are saying that the government must step up and change its priority from what they feel is right to actually prioritize the issues of health, to protect the health of clinical officers and that of other Kenyans.
Could you, Daktari, possibly describe the situation in your hospitals currently?
The current, as I can tell you, the situation is not good, because once the clinical officers and the nurses are not in the hospital, as much as the doctors suspended their strike, they cannot run the facility. We offer, like clinical officers offer clinical services up to 95%. And the nurses do their services, no one can substitute them. So once these people are not in the hospital, then the facility is totally paralyzed. I saw that's why the governor was running, the chair of Council of Governors was trying to say there are facilities that are still running. And yet it is a lie. Tarakanith is paralyzed. Meru is paralyzed. Kajiado is paralyzed. Migori is paralyzed. Among all the other facilities, they were saying that they are working. There is no services in the public facility. But what we are saying is that we are not willing to continue sacrificing We want the government to protect us. We want the government to release the PPEs that are in KEMSA. We want the government to give us a commensurating health risk allowance to the risk that we are involved. If they can't do this, I think we are not willing to go and die when we know that we die, we will leave a lot of rather huge bill for our people to continue suffering.
Sawa, Daktari. Thank you so much. Linda, as you've just heard from the horse's mouth, Daktari here says that the situation is dire in the hospitals. There are no equipment for the doctors to use, and that is basically what they are trying to say. There are no equipment, they are not being paid enough risk allowances, and so many others, and they are here to basically speak truth to power. Linda, we are following on this story as it continues to break out, and possibly we'll be telling our viewers what will transpire from this place. Back to you in studio, Linda.
Well, thank you so much, Musa Salah, for that comprehensive report. As you follow up on the same, we look forward to see what will take center stage after this strike that started sometimes last week. The doctors also had threatened to strike, but upon that conversation by the government, they say that they're going to give 14 more days before again they get to another strike in the event that their grievances are not going to be addressed. So Musa Salah will be bringing that report to you later. But as we proceed, as the fight against sexual and gender-based violence is ongoing in the country, 3,153 such cases have been reported between the month of March and November this year, with adverse effects such as pregnancies and disabilities following after. As a result, the need for safe spaces and gender desks for such survivors across the country has been met with utmost necessity. Florence Care, a girls' safe housekeeper in Nairobi County, says there is need to have more safe houses to accommodate sexual violence survivors undergoing psychological torture.
And we had 19 survivors with disabilities.
We are demanding that the executive fully finances 17 desks in every constituency in Nairobi. And apart from that, we are also demanding that City Hall gives a fully financed department on issues of GBV.
The safe houses are full. The safe houses are full, and actually, people need shelters. People need these safe spaces, but they are so inadequate. Actually, there are very few. In Nairobi, there are very few. Even you can, I don't know, if the one that in Makueni has only 14 beds. You can imagine a whole county with a safe house that has only 14 beds. That is actually ridiculous. We really need safe spaces for people who are going through sexual violence.
Now, so a member of parliament, Caleb Kositani, has called upon the government not to review and introduce hefty taxation on Kenyans next year until the economy recovers from COVID-19 effects. Speaking in Eldoret, Kositani said any attempts to increase taxes will hurt Kenyans immensely and business people who incurred huge losses during the pandemic period who won't recover. He urged the government to look for ways of revamping the economy without overburdening Kenyans.
Nimeona juzi kwamba serikali sasa inataka kutoa ile kodi ilipunguzwa kwa sababu ya mambo ya corona. Wafanyabiashara walipewa rebate, wale watu wanakula mshahara wakapewa rebate. Ninasikia kwamba very soon tutaitwa bunge ili tuende tuondoe ile kodi, turudi ile kodi ya juu. Mimi sitaunga mkono huo mswada, kwa sababu kodi ilipunguzwa wakati tulikuwa na kesi 100 ya corona. Kodi ilipunguzwa wakati hatukuwa tumepoteza, watu wengi hawakuwa wamepoteza kazi zao. Tukizungumza sasa, corona iko juu. Tukizungumza sasa, Wakenya zaidi ya milioni 3 wamepoteza ajira na hali ya mapato ya maisha ya kuendelesha maisha yao. This is not the right time to revert to the old tax system. If anything, we should even reduce taxes further to cushion Kenyans. na serikali ni kubwa, we can actually collect more by charging less, so that businesses don't have to shut down, businesses don't have to move from our country to other places where they enjoy better taxes and in that way get better profits. We need to relook at other ways of getting revenue as a government other than high taxes.
A section of residents in Athi River are complaining that they are forced to live in polluted environment as nearby factories emit their effluent into their surroundings, oblivious of the harm they are causing. The factories discharge liquid waste to nearby rivers as well as smoke. Battery and steel manufacturers have been identified to be among the factories polluting Athi River. Residents say their health has been affected hugely. Now they claim they have tried to report to authorities at the National Environment Management Authority, but their cries have been ignored. According to them, all they want is for the factories to treat their waste before releasing it to the environment. The factories in question refuse to respond to the complaints. However, Machakos County Governor promised to dispatch officials from his government to investigate the matter.
Inakuwaga na sumu, hata hii kuikanaga mkuu wenyewe ama kuishika hivi maji yenyewe na kumbambuaga ngozi.
Kwa naombaje hii maji yenye inatoka kwa kampuni, kwa sababu inaenda kwa mto, na hiyo mto ndio tunategemea kwa usafi na kunyunyuzia pia mimea huku maji. Kama kuna venye inaweza treatiwa, isikuwe inaenda hiyo waste upate ati inaingia kwa maji direct ikiwa kama chemical. Na pia waangalie pia hiyo harufu yenye inanuka na hiyo moshi inaachiliwa, kuna venye pia haina affect watu.
Elsewhere, with only 3 weeks remaining before schools reopen, a number of learning institutions across the country are preparing to receive learners by ensuring that they adhere to the government's guidelines on COVID-19. Some private schools in Nyeri County are in the process of recruiting more teachers due to the additional classes set up to help observe social distance. Water points are also being set up to ensure there is enough supply of water for washing hands. It was a similar case at Shalom Group of Schools in Rumoru, Kieni, where the institution's administration was working to ensure all was set before learners reported back next month. All schools will reopen on 4th January 2021.
We have also added manpower to ensure that we have so many other classes that were not there, just to ensure that we observe the social distance. On sanitation, we have ensured that we have added over 50 water points that are working with soap and sanitizer. Therefore, I can say that we are very much prepared.
We have the isolation rooms in case of anything. We have washing points, or where they do wash their hands. We have enough sanitizers, and there is spacing even in the dormitory.
Well, 20 women were today hired by an Italian investor to clean up 3 dustbin containers donated to the Kilifi government after being neglected for several months at the Jacaranda area. Lynette Gidhua with more details.
Residents of Jacaranda in Kilifi County are crying foul following the neglect of the county government toward the maintenance and cleanliness of the area.
Kuna kwa taka ambazo sasa ziondolewa na serikali, lakini serikali labda imechelewa kuondosha, ndio kwa sababu huyu mzungu na hakuna shughuli, ndio akachukua mama 20 ili kusafisha zitakataka hapa mtaani, ambao ni shughuli ya serikali, lakini serikali kana kwamba imetusahau katika hili eneo. Kwa hivyo mzungu mwenyewe ameamua kusaidia wakina mama kuondosha hizi taka katika hili eneo.
Taking the matter to his own hands, Pascal Tirito, chairman of Jacaranda Beach Resort, who donated 3 dustbin containers to the county government over a year ago, still has found himself cleaning the very bins.
Around last year, I donate the community and the county some dustbin. Contained dustbin, very big. I dispatch one there, one near the school, Jacaranda Primary School, another one in the road for the beach road. But unfortunately, nobody came to remove the taka-taka.
Reports indicate that the county government van broke down, thereby making the cleaning exercise difficult. The residents of the area have complained severally as the accumulation of waste in the bins have left them vulnerable to harm and diseases. This in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic.
Tayari hii hali yenyewe ambayo tuko ya COVID-19 haitaki uchafu. Sasa uchafu umekaa hapa kwa muda, unaathiri watoto wetu pamoja na sisi wenyewe. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali, hali kama hii inatuathiri zaidi na zaidi. Kwa hivyo watukumbuke huku.
County government has since been called upon to assist in undertaking its duty of care to the citizens in the area. Lynette Gidua, TV47.
Thanks, Lynette, for that report. It is now time that we go for a quick break and we come back with more news. So keep it right here.
For Tuskys supermarket, maybe this is the end of the road, or maybe there will be a comeback.
I'm not praying for Tuskys to fall, because it has served me anyway.
For them to come back, it will take a miracle. It will take an act of God for Tuskys to come back.
Get yourself out of here! Get out! It's gone on too long!
If Tuskys want to, they can have a comeback, because it's not all lost.
For Tuskys supermarket, maybe this is the end of the road, or maybe there will be a comeback.
I'm not praying for Tuskys to fall, because it has served me anyway.
For them to come back, it will take a miracle. It will take an act of God for Tuskys to come back.
Get yourself out of here! Get out! It's gone on too long!
If Tuskys want to, they can have a comeback, because it's not all lost.
For Tuskys supermarket, maybe this is the end of the road, or maybe there will be a comeback.
I'm not praying for
Well, we're still on the business of giving you more news. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. And getting into what is happening at some more different locations, Narok County Commissioner Evans Achoki has ruled out the distribution exercise of Huduma number cards in the county after this was received, or they received the first batch of 329 cards. And speaking while handing over the cards to the first beneficiaries in the county and to the Narok North Deputy Commissioner for the distribution.
Finally here. So I have the pleasure to present to him Commissioner Narok North, and all other deputy county commissioners have received their copy.
No problem.
County tumepokea huduma number cards zile ambaye tulisajili wakaazi wa Narok County, na leo tumepokea kadi 339 na tutapeana kwa deputy county commissioners ambaye watakuwa wanapeana hizi cards kwa wenyewe. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa tukizipata in phases. Tutakuwa tumeweka ile list ya the number of cards received kwa notice board ya deputy county commissioners. Kwa hivyo Wewe ukiwa unataka kuona kama kadi yako imefika, utaenda kwa notice board ya the 6 deputy county commissioners in Narok County, uangalie kwa notice board. Ukiona kadi yako imefika, basi utaingia kwa deputy county commissioner, utapata yule officer ambaye anapeana these cards.
Well, the government is set to phase out the current national identification cards come December next year, as the Huduma number will now serve as the official government document of identification. And away from that, preparations are in top gear in Msambweni constituency ahead of tomorrow's by-election. Election officials have already been trained as they receive the election materials. Mariam Mocharo is in Msambweni, Kwale County, and now joins us live. Mariam, what else do we know about the preparations?
Back in studio, definitely we are at Dr. Babla Secondary School, and this is the main tallying center where votes are going to be counted from here tomorrow after the voting process. Definitely earlier on we spoke to the returning officer Yusuf Abubakar, who told us that actually at this moment the presiding officers for every polling station has arrived and polling center have arrived, and they were receiving a briefing on which particular station or poll to go to, and they were checking through their boxes. As you can see behind me, they were checking through their boxes to see if everything is in order, and after this place they were going to be given a security detail, 2 security officers to accompany them to their polling centers. But more, I will now invite the returning officer, Mr. Yusuf Abubakar, to actually tell us what is expected of the day. Karibu sana, returning officer Yusuf Abubakar. Tell us right now what's happening and what's expected after this, and also tomorrow what time are voters supposed to come in and start the voting process.
Right now my officers are checking the materials that we've distributed for them so that they can go to their polling stations in the next 1 or 2 hours. So they are just confirming that everything that has been provided for, whatever that they require at the polling stations. Okay. Yeah, then in the next 1 or 2 hours they'll be leaving. Okay. But first of all we'll have to give them these ballot papers which you are seeing in front of me. Yeah. First, once they are done with confirming the materials that they have, then we'll give them their ballot papers for each polling station, then we release them.
And earlier you also spoke about security detail. Will they be accompanied by security detail?
Everybody is already at the tallying center. All the security personnel we needed for the polling stations are here. We are just waiting for the officers to confirm that they have everything. We give them the materials, we give them lunch, and then release them.
And tomorrow, what time is voting going to begin?
Voting, it's something covered by the Constitution. So it's in the Constitution when to start an election process and how to end it. Okay. So, like for this case, the voting will open at 6 in the morning and close at 5. But when it closes at 5, it doesn't mean that if you haven't voted by 5 and you are inside the polling station, that you'll go home. We will only close the gate so that nobody else comes in, but those who are inside the gate will be served until we serve the last person, even if it will go up to 7.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for that particular information. Definitely, you've heard it from him. That was the returning officer, Abubakar Yusuf, who was giving us what is expected right now. As I told you earlier, the presiding officers are here to pick their material and head on to their polling centers and polling stations in readiness for tomorrow. And we also talked to the returning officer, who said the security detail that has been hired is not only the internal security, but also border patrol officers will be in and around areas of Msambweni constituency. Some of them will be dressed in police uniform and others will also be dressed in civilian. So more to come later on. We'll definitely be here and bring you updates on this particular story.
Indeed, the world is waiting to see what will take center stage there. Indeed, quite a tight contested race, and we've seen it even at the national level. Some of the leaders have gone down on ground to campaign for their preferred candidates, the likes of Boga and Fadhili, who are the key contenders. So indeed, it is a race to watch out for, alongside other counties or alongside other, sections that will also be having the by-elections, like what will be taking center stage in Kahawa, Wendani, that is tomorrow. So we'll be following up on the same to update you. And conservation efforts towards rehabilitation of the Mau Forest Water Tower received a boost after the East African breweries donated 1.5 million shillings to be used in planting bamboo trees at Purko Development Trust land located in Tipis, Narok County. The Purko Development Trust has donated 20 acres for the first phase of the project, which is expected to run from 2020 to 2022. The Chief Conservator of Forest in charge of Narok County said that they are also engaging and encouraging tree planting through schools, and this, he believes, will help the country achieve a 10% tree cover as farmers are being encouraged to plant bamboo trees. They are plans to establish a bamboo factory within Ol Kruto ward.
Was financed in 2020 through 2022 to plant nearly 1 million trees in over 900 acres of riparian land within the Purko Trust land.
As KBL, we want to support this Purko project. This is a community farm owned by the farmers. So we want to make it like a model farm where farmers can also come and learn and see the importance of planting trees.
Nimeona ile maendeleo ya leo ni kitu muhimu sana, kwa maana kitu naitwa miti iko dawa na iko na mvua